It is Friday morning, and good morning, beautiful morning. Little muggy out there, a little foggy out there, but overall it's a beautiful Friday morning.
It's a great morning.
So,
Hey, glad to be in here this morning.
yes, we're glad to have you.
Thank
You're a step ahead of me.
Well, thank you, Paul. Thank you so much. Oh, it is a great morning. Summer's kind of, well, the non-school summer season's kind of drawing to a close, probably.
Yeah.
So we're going to enjoy talking about that with Mrs. Jana Vance here in a little bit. Excited to speak with her about some of the comings and goings of getting ready for a different kind of school year than what we've had in the past. Things are different all over the place.
Yeah.
So before we get to that, let's go through some things. We got a mask mandate coming Monday
Yes.
for the state.
Yes.
We decided to start a little early. Give
Yeah,
it a
you
shot. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. You'll not know what I'm thinking now. That's
I
part
know.
of
I know.
that's part of the fun for me.
Another way to throw you off for the trivia.
That's
too.
right. Yeah, this is an
Yeah.
effort to stump you even more.
We were talking off air that you follow mouths a lot. I think I do the same thing because it's been hard.
Do you have a lot of people wearing masks when they come in now?
Since it's been announced, you guys are the first ones in.
Oh, hey, there we go. We like that.
We'll have Mayor Ted in at 10 o'clock this morning, so
That's a
I'm
good
sure
position.
he'll have his on.
That's right. Well, some news on that. In that note, the U.S. government's paying Pfizer nearly $2 billion for December delivery of 1,000 doses of COVID-19.
I think that's supposed to be a million. I think I typoed that wrong.
That better be. That's
yeah,
a big.
that was a million. I typoed that
If
wrong.
you had to pay the per
That's my fault.
vaccine cost on that,
Big
I don't
typo
think anybody
James Ford. Big typo.
they're going to inject you
Missed a
with
couple zeros there.
liquid diamonds.
Yeah.
Okay, that didn't make any sense. 1 million doses. Well, now who gets those first? And do you want to be first? I might wait till the second batch, but maybe not. Hopefully those come through, and I'm glad that we're being proactive and spurring that effort on, because that's a big deal for us. Hey, it looks like we're going to have some nice temperatures. You can
Yeah.
still get outside and do your yard work, or
Oh, yeah.
do some sunbathing still. It's not too late. Nice summer days.
I don't think you have to wear the mask at home if you're just out in your own yard.
Oh, I didn't think about mask tan lines.
Yeah.
It's a new fashion thing
Oh,
to worry
wow.
It'd be a
about.
whole
I
new
hadn't thought
fashion
about
statement.
that.
Now
Well,
you got those people who refuse to wear sunglasses when they're sunbathing. How about a mask?
I bet they're going to come out with masks that allow the UV rays through just to keep it even on your face.
Wouldn't surprise me.
There's a lot of unknowns right now.
Yeah.
This is one of the major ones. Okay, trivia this morning. How many clubs and activities does Rochester High School offer? 20, 36, or 45?
I counted this from their website.
Okay. So if it's off and it ends up being none of those, it's all your fault.
Yep.
No,
I'll take the blame.
it's a real number that was on the website, so we can still measure if you're right or wrong.
Mhm.
Okay. Jana, give us some sports updates. Things are starting to move a little.
Yeah, they are. We actually have something to talk about and cover this week. The MLB season's begun. The shortened 60-game season. 2 games under its belt last night, so the Yankees beat the Nationals, the defending World Series champion. Nationals. Seems like forever ago since they played that.
Yeah, I forgot about that already.
4-1, and then the Giants and Dodgers played. I don't know who won that game. I assume the Dodgers, but
I don't know either.
I didn't stay up to watch that one.
We'll have Paul figure that one out for
But
us.
every other team's in action tonight. Cubs play the Brewers tonight. Didn't write down who the White Sox play. I apologize. I should have.
Cubs and Brewers makes me think of Old Style versus Miller.
That's a good way to put it.
Although I think the Cubs went away from Old Style
I think they did too.
after 100 years.
But I know a lot of people are excited that baseball's back on TV. It's definitely different. Nobody in attendance, but they're trying to do it in the safest way possible.
Well, getting the national pastime rolling is kind of symbolic.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
great.
And Dodgers won.
Dodgers won. Right?
8-1.
Oh, whooped them.
The Yankees had to be glad because their $329 million man got his first win
Yeah,
in
finally.
the pinstripes. So.
Garrett Cole going to get about 12 starts out of him this year, so
Oh my gosh.
you better make it
That
work.
goes back to the cost of each vaccine.
Exactly.
This was some
Doesn't it
big
really?
unit numbers when you're talking about the 12
Crazy.
games.
There's going to be so many different strategical procedures this year with the DH all over the place, not just the AL, and then the extra inning games with the runner starting on second. there's going to be a lot of small ball tactics. So it's going to be interesting to watch how managers get through
Sounds
this
like
season.
arcade style baseball.
It does, doesn't it?
That's funny.
Speaking of traditional sports, this is an event. Indy 500 announced this week that attendance is going to be limited to 25% capacity. But the good news is it will be aired live this year as the local TV blackout has been lifted.
Oh, that's a big deal.
Really big deal.
That's been in place and been kind of a thorn in
Years and years
residents' sides for a long time. That's great. Smart thing to do, and
it is.
sounds
This
like
is
the
the year
right
to do
decision.
it.
I agree. Well, great.
The NFL's been in the news, of course, this week a little bit. They announced that there's going to be no preseason games this year. They had originally said they were going to try to fit in one, but now it's 0, and that made the players happy. So if we are to have a season, which rookies are reporting now, and training camps start as early as next week, it'll be an interesting first couple of games. I think we'll see a lot of sloppiness out of the first couple of weeks
True.
that we normally see in the preseason. So.
Well, like the Bears are having a quarterback competition, and I'm not sure you can really have one.
So I would be surprised if teams scrimmage a lot in training camp this year.
I haven't seen a lot of news items related to like how they're actually going to be playing these games. Have they figured all that out yet?
There hasn't been really anything announced. I mean, it's just kind of one step at a time, it seems like. But camps do start next week, and I know they have tons of safety precautions, of course, around the facilities and building.
Okay.
So.
We were talking earlier before we started. It's hard to plan too far down the road, so that makes sense.
Washington, formerly the Washington Redskins, were in the news yesterday. They're going to be known for at least this season only as the Washington Football Team.
Okay.
That is literally their new branding. They're keeping their colors. The helmets are changing from the Redskins logo to just numbers, but their team logo and everything literally just says Washington Football Team established 1932 or 36.
Wow.
Yep.
It seems like a soccer type name.
Yeah, it does.
Football
so
club.
It's just really bland, but they didn't have a lot of time.
Washington FC.
They said this will kind of be a replacement name this year while they get a permanent logo and then potential new name.
Generally, the Washington teams have some sort of government type.
The hockey team,
moniker.
the Capitals, kind of have the best one already in my opinion. Then you got the Nationals, and then you got the Wizards, who used to be the Bullets.
And the Expos used to be the Senators, I think. There's some old names around there.
So we'll see what they come up with originally, but for this year it's going to be the Washington Football Team.
That is so bland.
And lastly, speaking of names, the NHL announced a year or two ago that they're going to expand their league in Seattle. Well, the Seattle team finally has a name now. They're going to be known as the Seattle Kraken.
And speaking of not bland.
And there's a lot of different, if you look it up, they gave like 5 different reasons why they named it that and why their logo is portrayed in the S like it is. It's kind of cool. Because at first I was thinking maybe Seattle Grunge or something.
Yeah.
Something like that, but.
The Kraken, that's some sort of mythical sea beast, isn't it?
Yep.
Squid or something?
I do have to say their marketing team came out with a really cool intro video about the
really?
brand. Yeah, it's pretty neat with the Kraken and everything out in the sea. It is pretty cool.
There was one NHL team that threw like octopus on the ice if they got a hat trick, wasn't there?
Yep.
Or something
and
like
I don't
that.
remember,
Yeah. So I see some squid on the ice here for the Kraken. They play this year, or is that a year ahead?
It'll be a year ahead, if not 2 years from now. Yeah.
Wow.
It's gonna be a little while, but
get your logo gear.
Get your Kraken gear. Yeah. 32 teams now in hockey. Some quick tidbits here this morning. On this day in 1969, Apollo 11 returned to Earth. Pretty big deal.
Mm-hmm.
On this day in 1983, the Pine Tar game happened as George Brett of the Kansas City Royals. His home run was disallowed against the Yankees. The umpire said he was using pine tar, and you've probably seen the highlight. George Brett comes running out of the dugout with his arms up in the air, gets in the umpire's face.
Unfortunately, that's probably the most played baseball clip in history.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah. And George Brett, I think I can say this without too many people giving me backlash. I think he's the greatest Kansas City Royal player of all time. So that even adds to the story. On this day in 1998, Saving Private Ryan was released.
I remember that.
Classic movie.
Yeah.
I know we watched that in high school in history class. Yeah, good movie. And today is National Tequila Day. It's National Drive-Through Day. Speaking of drive-throughs, you can drive through at First Federal Savings Bank. We can take care of it right through the drive-through if you don't want to come in the lobby.
We were the first bank in Fulton County to have a drive-through.
That's correct. Dick likes to tell that story.
That's right.
Also Pioneer Day, Cousins Day, and Tell an Old Joke Day.
Yeah, I'm not very good at that.
I was trying to think of an old joke and I couldn't come up with any good ones.
Try my best.
I'm trying to put those all together, and I can get most of them apart from Pioneer Day.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you could get your cousins together, dress up like pioneers, hit some drive-throughs, and get some tequila.
And tell an old joke on the way.
And tell an old joke after you
I
had
don't
the tequila.
recommend mixing cousins and tequila. That's just say. I don't recommend it.
That was
Maybe
Paul's
they're
words.
distant cousins.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Tanner.
You're welcome.
Hey, we got a couple of fundraisers going on. Ben's Soft Pretzel Truck will be outside Walmart tomorrow from 11 to 3. And some of those proceeds will go towards the Times Theater renovation, which we're seeing some evidence of right now.
Yeah.
Some of the facade work, that's really exciting. And kudos to the Rochester Downtown Partnership and Harry Webb for all the effort in that project. Chicken and Noodle Benefit Dinner is also tomorrow. This is at the Fulton County Historical Society from 4 to 7 p.m. Free will donations can be made as proceeds are going to help with operating expenses for the Historical Society. The Mentone Flying Club is having a free 8-week private pilot ground school. They have this periodically. Good opportunity to begin your quest for a pilot's license, Paul. This begins on August 4th. And the classes are going to be weekly on Tuesdays from 7 to 10 p.m. at the Rochester Airport Terminal Building.
So I need to fly it now.
Fun hobby, but
Yeah.
I don't know that firsthand, but a lot of people really are passionate about that, so good opportunity. And then, of course, we've been talking about this, but it's kind of upcoming within a month now.
Mm-hmm.
Fulton County Habitat for Humanity Golf Outing. It's going to be on Saturday, August 15th this year. And that's 8 o'clock registration. Tee-off will be at 9. Still some openings for some teams, Ken?
Oh yeah, we'll always take teams and whole sponsors. So it's $100 for a whole sponsor, $250 for a team, $300 for both. There's your deal right there. You can mail in the payment to Fulton County Habitat for Humanity at P.O. Box 843, Rochester, Indiana 46975. So our registration deadline originally is August 1st, but we will take it as we can get it.
You'd like a full course.
Yeah, it would be great. I don't know where exactly we stand on teams, but sponsorships, I think we have 18 or 19 so far.
Nice.
So we're getting there.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for your work on that.
You're welcome.
In money news, it's one of our favorite topics, naturally.
Yes.
Paul. The Dow Jones average is about even for the week, but that makes it seem like nothing's happened. Actually, it kind of went up early in the week and then took a dive last couple of days. The futures are a little bit lower today also, so we'll see where we finish out the full week. But the U.S.-China tensions are back.
Yeah.
That I could have pulled that from last year's
Yeah,
radio show
you
script,
really could have.
It'll probably be exactly the same.
and maybe put it on next year's at this
Yeah,
time
I
too.
think that's probably safe bet.
Yeah, so some real global disagreements there between those two big countries, big powerhouses. So that's kind of weighing things down as they're looking at opening today. But who knows? That doesn't always affect it for the whole day. Some of the biggest economic news this week was the coming end to the additional unemployment benefits. That's been getting a lot of attention, a lot of interest in what lawmakers may do with that. So I think an enhanced unemployment plan is going to come out here soon. But in Indiana, new unemployment filings dropped below 20,000 for last week, and that was the first time since March. So that was some
That's
real
good to hear.
positive news for Indiana. And I don't think we've been hit quite as hard as some of the other states, which is
Right.
great. Tesla, you guys know anyone that has a Tesla yet?
I do.
Hey,
I do
there you
too.
go. See, it's becoming more popular. They had their 4th profitable quarter in a row.
Wow.
Nice.
And that's one of the criteria to being on the S&P 500. So that they kind of crossed that hurdle, and that they may be added to that index in the future.
So Elon Musk is up to fifth richest person in the world now.
Thinking of, what an idea, man.
Yeah,
know?
he really is.
I don't
Not
know.
only does he do cars, he does space shuttles.
Yeah,
I've heard he doesn't
Satellites.
sleep much. I didn't know
I
if
could
that was
see
good
that.
for thinking or
Yeah.
bad for
I
thinking,
can see that.
but he's making that work. And AMC movie theaters. I know they're going to wait till mid-August to potentially reopen, but you guys have seen the headlines. Every new movie is getting pushed back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
these studios, or these theaters, can't really.
and they don't
operate
want to do the
profitably.
video on demand, even though that has worked really well for some movies. I mean, the theater companies, they want them in the theaters for
Yeah.
a reason, so.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's their whole
it's
model.
interesting.
So that's tough for theaters, and that's
Mhm.
just an example of another thing that we're kind of delayed on getting back to normal on a few
Mhm.
things like that. And then all about First Federal today. Hey, we're open till 5. Need a money market account?
Not yet.
Okay. Savings, checking. You talk about a mortgage. That's really the hot topic here lately has been mortgages because rates keep going down. I can't believe we're talking about that again, but rates are so low. We've got a special right now, and that's a July purchase special, which we're going to extend into August actually. We've had some really good response with this, and for good reason. If you're buying a home, we can get you a fixed rate. If you qualify for a fixed rate loan, we can get that to you with a lender credit of $500 towards closing costs.
Nice.
Save you some money. Maybe you can put that into the couch that you need for that home or something like that.
Yeah.
And then we'll even discount the interest rate from what we've got on our rate sheet for you. So please give us a call. We'd love to help you out with buying a home. And we've got that special going on, which will extend through August. Our loan originators, Ben Dalton and Stacy Wilson, can help you with those details. And we can even get you pre-approved, so you can kind of target the dollar amount of home that you're looking for even before you found it, which is a good idea. There's not many homes on the market, so you want to be in position to put an offer in right away with confidence. So we'll help you do that. We offer financial services through Mark Bluebaugh, Brian Bell. They can help you with that, 223-2128. Or business lending. That's Lindy Breeden. Like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're the only locally owned bank in Fulton County. We don't want to be the biggest, just the best, Paul. Borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines. We are FDIC insured and an equal housing lender. Our NMLS number is 399927.
And that makes us legal.
We're rolling now.
Yeah.
Hey, we're excited to welcome our guest this morning, Jana Vance, Superintendent at Rochester Community School Corp. Hi, Jana.
Good morning, how are you?
Great. Thank you for coming in this morning.
Absolutely honored to do so.
You are a woman in demand right now, I would imagine.
I think so.
It's been the time of year here, late July, when we start thinking about back to school. That's a big traditional time in the United States for school supply shopping and finding out who your teachers are going to be and getting your new, maybe some clothes ready for the school year. It's kind of a fun time, but this year, like everything else, is a little bit different.
Sure.
And we're excited to talk with you about that today. But let's think about the way last year finished just for a moment. We haven't even had graduation yet.
I know.
It's weird to say that.
Sure. So graduation is coming up on, is it August 1st? I believe we've switched it a couple of times.
Yes.
August
10
1st. We're going to have that out on the football field. Hopefully the weather will cooperate
It will.
with us. The virus hasn't, but maybe the weather will.
Let's count on this. I think it will.
We're hoping for a 10 o'clock start time. We do have plans on our website that people can access in case there is inclement weather. But again, just want to thank our seniors and their families and the community at large for their patience as things continue to change. And typically we put out a message and we want to stick to that but this has
That just
been
isn't
so
how it works
fluid.
anymore.
Absolutely, it's been, and everybody in the community has been so supportive
That's
of that
great.
and understanding.
Well, thanks for working that out. That's really neat that it is going to be able to take place
Sure.
and have an event and live. And we'll keep praying that does occur, but I think it will.
It will.
That's
One way or
great.
the other, it is happening that weekend. So.
That's right. And the baccalaureate ceremony.
Absolutely. So baccalaureate will be Sunday, and we will have that at 3 o'clock in our new auditorium. So we're really excited not only to have the seniors and their families in and be able to experience that, but it will be in our new auditorium facility. A lot of work has been going on while the schools have been shut down. There have been some good things. You always look for the silver lining.
Yeah.
So we've been able to complete a lot of those projects. with the buildings being unmanned.
And this will be the first event in there, I'm imagining.
It
Is that true?
It absolutely is.
Oh, that's great. I'd love to see that. The auditorium, I think, was original since when the building was put in, pretty much, wasn't it, at
There
that
have been
time?
some changes to, obviously, seat replacement, those types of things. The only original item in the auditorium at this point is the stage. And
That's
it has
neat.
undergone a total sanding down and new color and those types of things, but it is the only original piece left.
That is awesome. Well, great job on that. And I'm sure the drama department, if they can continue to move forward through the COVID, which I'm sure they will, is looking forward to using that facility.
Absolutely.
That's great. Okay, let's think about the way things ended last year. All of us were sprung upon school closure, trying to work through that together, which I think everybody did that with a lot of grace, which is great. Did we learn anything from that we can carry over into this year?
Absolutely. So one of the things that we know did not happen, and that is the closure for everybody, and especially for our students and our youngest students, that loss of normalcy, not being able to be with their peers, not being able to be with teachers, those types of things. So as we re-enter this year, we really want to spend our first few weeks building relationships. That is what carried us through this most difficult time. And so the focus, I know a lot of schools are worried about test scores and standards and those types of things. We're really going to slow things down and look at the social emotional part of this and really build those relationships. We're not sure what's going to happen moving forward, if we're going to cycle into being in session and out of session, those types of things. So we want to make sure that our relationships are in place. RTC and Joe McCarter and his crew have been an integral part of making sure that we have expanded Wi-Fi to our families so that they can access that. There was a period of time when our administrative team was running out those old worksheets and workbooks and those types of things.
Delivery.
And really have been able to work closely with him, and
That's
just
awesome.
so appreciative of he and his crew and what they've been able to do for us. So we've learned whom those families are that need that additional support, and I believe that we have that in place and continue to work on getting that in place. And then just an understanding, e-learning is great on a snow day. Long term, there's a lot more to consider, and so teachers have learned a lot from that. Students have learned a lot from that, and actually I think teachers have learned from students in regards to that. So if it's needed, and obviously it's one of our means of deployment this year, I think that they're going to see just a better deployment of the educational standards.
It's interesting how COVID in schools and also in business and our normal citizen life has had some trends that are happening that probably won't go back to the way it used to be.
Yeah.
We're seeing that with like video conferencing for meetings and things like
Sure.
that, and in some ways those are more efficient, in other ways maybe not as good as face-to-face when you can really interact, but I think some of those things will continue on in our society ongoing. And
Absolutely, and some of the things we're being asked to do, I don't believe long term we will be able to sustain, but other things are just good health practice, good social, emotional practices, those types of things. So we'll, as they say, we'll keep the bad and get rid of, or keep the good and get rid of the bad, and continue to move forward.
that sounds like a great plan. Okay, thinking about this coming year, is there a significant challenge, maybe one thing sticking out that I know there's been many, and making any decision is really hard right now. Is there anything that sticks out that was something that really took the team to figure out, that significant challenge that's been overcome, or that you got a good plan for now?
So one of the things I would like to highlight that I think originated it truly takes a village to raise these children, and it takes a great board willing to support you, the administrative team, teachers, bus drivers, our food service, especially our technology department at this point in time. But as we talk about building relationships, a lot of concern, especially from our kindergarten and preschool families, it's their first time walking their child to Columbia schools. Typically they're able to walk them to the classroom and do the meet and greet and those types of things.
That's right.
So one of the things that we're going to do is, school opens up August 4th. We're going to postpone the start of kindergarten until August 6th. And there's a multi-tiered reason for doing that. One, we can take those kindergarten and preschool teachers, put them in the classrooms with our first and second grade teachers to really help begin to develop normalcy in those rooms, try
like
to
that.
ease the emotional component, try to get them into a good pattern, a good routine. But then when we open up for kindergarten, we'll be able to do more of a meet and greet with parents, and they'll get to see their teacher. They won't get to walk their children all the way into the classroom, but we're going to have areas where we can do some outside social distancing, precautionary measures to
that
meet your
sounds so
teacher, to
important.
meet your peers. So excited about building those relationships.
That sounds great. That's a neat change, and I think that'll make a big difference this
Sure.
year. All right, you talked about silver linings earlier in relation to some things. Has there been something that through this incredibly challenging time, a silver lining or something rewarding that's come out of this?
You know, one of the things that we were able to do is to continue to feed the community throughout the summer.
That's
On a
right.
multi-tiered platform. One was actually taking the meals to different homes in different areas of our community every Friday through our bus and transportation. Others were working hand in hand with different agencies to bring the meal service to the parking lot there at the high school. And we have been able to meet a lot of families and help support them and get to know them on a different level. Jason Snyder actually picked up a couple of families that weren't able to go out and do their shopping. My family, Doug and Dryden, the same thing, and that spans across our school community where we've met some families we might not normally get to interact
Yes.
with and be able to help support them at an entirely different level. And I think those relationships will continue to bloom and to foster continued growth.
That's a great example. We're speaking with Jana Vance, Superintendent of Rochester Community Schools this morning. And, you know, one of the last things I want to make sure we hit is this, you mentioned takes a village and partnerships, relationships. Is there something that we can be doing as a community to help support students, teachers, staff,
Sure.
administration this year that maybe wasn't needed in the past or something we're realizing we could be doing?
You know, I would just really appreciate the continued level of patience and support. This is, you know, what was new even in the spring. There are components of that we can transfer into the fall reopening, but even at that, there needs to be a level of patience and understanding as we continue to experience growing pains within the
Yes.
district. It's one thing to do e-learning, it's another to bring 1,800, 1,700 students into the building, 500 employees, and maintain everything. So just a level of patience, and please, please, please don't believe everything you read on social media. Give us a call, ask those questions. It's a way to build relationship. It's a way to get it straight from the horse's mouth.
That's called benefit of the doubt. It's really important. We lose that sometimes.
Yeah. So communicate and
Good.
at a level that's meaningful and productive for all.
And then real quickly, something, you know, we're always interested in, not the most important, but still an important component, sports.
Whew, that was a tough one. That was the toughest one.
Sports
I thought I was going to get bumped. It's time for me to go.
well, everyone's interested in sports, and if we can, I know there's a lot of unknowns again, but
Sure.
how's that looking just in general so far?
Sure. Ryan Johnson has done an amazing job. Our coaching staff really, really adhering to those rules. Dr. Rayburn consistently on call for us
That's
to
great.
answer those questions. So again, that village, it's going well. You know, if we're just going to be straight shooters about this, we really don't know yet what football season's going to look like. And I can most assuredly tell you football season's going to look much different than volleyball season. You're talking about being able to put spectators outside as opposed to putting them in a gymnasium.
In a building.
We're
That
still
makes sense.
we're still waiting on the governor. Are we moving into phase 5? Is 4.5 going to
That's
last
right, we
a little
don't
bit
know.
long? So again, our athletes are in. We're taking all of those precautions. They're gearing up. We're all excited for Friday night
That's
football.
right.
Those types of things. Will it happen? We're hoping so. What will it look like? Evan, that's one of those things that we ask for patience with.
Yeah, I
we just
understand
don't
that.
know. We need to continue to evaluate that.
Well, hey, I just want to tell you we appreciate
Thank you.
everything you've been doing over these incredibly long 5-6 months and making, you know, gathering all this information, figuring out what it means, communicating, working it out, and then even making a decision. It's been so difficult, and we appreciate and support you in that.
And I'll say it's fun being in a room with former students and watching you guys grow and take
Well, thank you.
leadership roles in the community. So thank you.
Yep, well, we appreciate you, and thanks for coming in this
Yeah,
morning.
absolutely honored. Thank you.
Okay, I hope you didn't look at my trivia answer here, Paul.
No.
How many clubs and activities does Rochester High School offer? I should have asked you, Jana. I won't. A20, B36, or C45?
Well, of the three, the first two seem like solid numbers. Or, well, the A and C seem like solid numbers. B just seems really weird, like 36. Who could make that up? Tanner? So I'm going 36.
You're right. That's incredible. Nice job, Paul. Hey, we've got some good words of wisdom here this morning to end on. And this is fitting for today since our baseball season has now started. This is from Babe Ruth.
Okay.
Never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game. That relates to more than sports, I think, don't you?
Yes.
Hey, have a great week. Thank you for having us in, Paul.
We'll see you next Friday.
All right.